Leading causes of death of youth in Polk County. We talk about car seat safety and the importance of wearing a bicycle helmet, but we aren't talking about guns. It's time for our community to come together to address this public health issue. That's why we're launching our gun safety campaign called Talk It Up, Lock It Up. We need to start talking about gun safety and normalize the conversation around safe gun storage. We know that safe gun storage can prevent gun-related injuries and deaths. If you have a firearm at home, make sure it's stored locked and unloaded. And talk to your friends and family members. If they have a firearm, ask them if it's stored locked and unloaded. And if it's not, encourage them to get a gun lock or some other security device. We are giving out free gun trigger locks at the health department, and some of our partners are as well. You can visit our website to see a map of the pickup sites. Again, storing a firearm locked and unloaded can prevent gun-related injuries and deaths. You will hear from our healthcare partners on how gun safety is an important conversation that they are also having with parents and caregivers. We can come together to address this issue. Gun safety saves lives. Talk it up, lock it up. Our next speaker is Angela Connolly, District 5 Supervisor from the Polk County Board of Supervisors. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Helen. As you just heard, gun injuries are one of the leading causes of death for youth in Polk County. This gun safety initiative has the full support of the Polk County Board of Supervisors. We need to do everything that we can to save the lives of our youth in Polk County. We know that youth are at risk of gun injuries from accidental shootings and from school shootings or homicides, but they are also at risk of dying by suicide with guns. 45% of firearm deaths occurred at home in Polk County. Let me say that again. 45% of firearm deaths occurred at home in Polk County. 66% of suicides in Polk County were attributed to firearms. Firearms are the leading cause of suicide deaths and are the most lethal, resulting in deaths at an estimated 90% of the time. The mental health status of our youth, as everyone knows, have declined. Our youth are suffering from anxiety and depression more than ever before, which puts them at risk of suicide. It's time for our community to support and to come together to address this issue. And as you can see, we're here together today. This campaign from all of our partners standing behind me and all the partners who are in this audience stand together. We have law enforcement, healthcare organizations, and community organizations working together to address this issue. If you or your organizations are interested in getting involved with this, please contact Madison, the health department's PIO, at 515-286-3848. Let's change the culture and conversation around gun safety in Polk County. Start talking to your friends and family members about gun safety, and make sure your own firearms are stored locked and unloaded. Talk it up, lock it up. I love that saying, by the way. Whoever thought of that? Talk it up, lock it up. Our next speaker is Dr. Jessica Buzzaga-Reed, known as Jay-Z by her friends. Mercy One Des Moines Associate Chief Medical Officer and Pediatric Intensivist. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for that great introduction. Gun injuries are one of the leading causes of death in youth in Polk County. Throughout the last 5 years, we have seen this increase. Gun safety is incredibly important to me. I am the granddaughter and the niece of former Chicago police officers, and I'm a pediatric intensive care physician. I am one of the experts called to the emergency room to help save the lives of children who are impacted by gun injuries. It is an honor and a privilege to be entrusted to do what I do. No parent should ever have to be put through this with their child. It is imperative that it's understood that throughout my career, I have taken care of children of all ages, infants to teenagers. Some of them are accidental injuries, some are intentional injuries. But again, this is something that shouldn't be happening to any child at any age or any parent. When these children survive in the emergency room, they come to my unit. Sometimes those journeys are hours, sometimes they're days. I cannot begin to explain the emotional toll it takes to be the person who's unsuccessful at saving that child's life, and then being the one to explain to the parents that their child is gone. I'm going to echo what Helen and Angela have said. We need to start talking to our friends and family about gun safety. If you are a parent, the chances are 1 in 3 that your child will be going to a house where there are firearms. 1 in 3. It's important that you ask your friends and family, do you have a firearm in your home? Is it locked? Is it separate from its ammunition? And is it in a safe and unloaded? Gun safety saves lives, and I do also love this tagline. It's important to talk it up and lock it up. With that, I'm going to hand over to our 4th speaker, Dr. Eric Haugen, who's a medical director of pediatrics at Blank Children's Hospital, Unity Point Health.
Good morning. As everyone else has said, gun injuries are one of the leading causes of death for youth in Polk County. In the past 5 years, we've been seeing this increase. This impact makes a ripple effect, where not only injury or death affects the individual, but it affects the witnesses, the family, the neighbors, the community. Gun safety begins at home, as said before, with gun storage in lock safe, ammunition stored elsewhere, out of reach and out of sight of children. This is the kind of conversation that we're having in our clinics today, discussing this with families, talking about this with the children, talking about it with everyone that we can to make sure that we're being safe. Because, as was also stated, there is a higher incidence of depression, anxiety in our children today, and the medical health resources are simply not there. We have long waits when it comes to trying to get help for the children in our community now. And so the more that we can do to step up and give them the help that they need is so imperative. And talking about guns and talking about it freely and openly is how we do that. Gun safety saves lives. Talk it up, lock it up. Thank you.
Okay, so now we will open for some questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and if I call on you, state your name, the organization that you're representing, as well as your question. If you know who you want to assign your question, go ahead and add that, but if you don't, then I will help assign that. So do we have any questions? Let's go in the back.
Bo Bowman, KCCI. You mentioned this is one of the leading causes of kids. So over the last 5 years, you've seen the increase. Are there any statistics you can share, or maybe
Yeah.
just after?
Yeah, yep, I actually have a couple printouts over there with a bunch of stats. Yep, thank you. Question?
I'm Natalie Krebs with Iowa Public Radio. Just wanted to see, I know this is a hard question. If anyone wanted to comment on why we're seeing youth injuries from firearms increasing so much in Polk County?
Well, I could probably add a little, just to shed a little bit of light on that. You're seeing a lot more gun violence, and we say Polk County, in and around the whole nation. I'm a member of the Major County Sheriffs and National Sheriffs Association. All the areas and metros are seeing an increase. You're seeing a lot younger offenders with guns. So that's the reason that you're seeing the increase in the violence. The guns are more readily available and being stolen from legal owners and being out there used illegally. So that's what you're seeing, and the youth are taking advantage of that, and that's why it's affecting the youth so much right now. So it's a good question.
I will add, nationally, gun injuries have actually superseded motor vehicle crashes as the #1 cause of death for children in the country.
Dr. Rick Stidwell, so I'm a trauma surgeon with the Iowa Clinic at
Thank you for that question. You see many of those partners here in the room. There has been a group that has been organized by United Way of Central Iowa that is having a very, very broad conversation about youth and gun violence. And many of those partners are here in the room. And we are going to work through those organizations as well as others, including libraries, schools, et cetera. This has to be a community-wide conversation. I think you heard it in the remarks that we want to change the culture around having a conversation about guns in Polk County. And that's going to take all of us working together. And we are so pleased with the support that we have received from various community organizations. And we will be working with them and through them to attend tabling events, to attend community events. You will be seeing public service announcements that will get this word out. And we invite you, if you haven't joined us in this effort, to please do so, because we need everyone in Polk County to help us make an impact, a positive impact on the lives of our youth.
Do you have any other questions? Okay, perfect. If any of the media would like to have individual interviews with any of our speakers, please come see me after and I will help set those up. Otherwise, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to our media and thank you to all of our partners.